The air was electric on Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, as the Western Conference Finals tipped off between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder. This wasn't just another playoff game. This was Game 1, the crucial opening statement in a best-of-7 series with a coveted spot in the NBA Finals on the line. The Thunder, playing on their home court, were looking to leverage that energy, while the Timberwolves aimed to steal a win on the road and seize early control. Oklahoma City marked their 5th appearance in the conference finals since their relocation in 2008, a remarkable feat of sustained excellence. The Minnesota Timberwolves, fresh off a hard-fought semifinal victory over the Golden State Warriors, arrived with a renewed sense of belief. The anticipation for this matchup was palpable, with fans eager to see how these dynamic squads would fare against one another. The tip-off was scheduled for 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, a primetime slot fitting for a contest of this magnitude. The intensity was high from the opening tip, signaling the start of what many expect to be a long and fiercely contested battle for Western Conference supremacy. The Minnesota Timberwolves came out of the gates looking every bit like a team determined to make a statement on the road. Leading the charge for the Timberwolves in that spectacular first half was Julius Randle, who put on an absolute shooting clinic. Randle was simply unconscious from beyond the arc, draining an incredible 5 three-pointers on just 6 attempts. He poured in 20 points before the halftime buzzer, his offensive explosion serving as the primary engine for Minnesota's early advantage. Complementing Randle's torrid shooting was the ever-dynamic Anthony Edwards, who also made his mark on the first half. Edwards contributed a solid 13 points and pulled down 5 crucial rebounds, showcasing his all-around game. The combination of Randle's perimeter prowess and Edwards' relentless attacking created a potent 1-2 punch that Oklahoma City struggled to contain. As the teams headed into the locker rooms at halftime, the scoreboard read Timberwolves 48, Thunder 44. The flow of Minnesota's impressive first-half performance was momentarily disrupted by a concerning sight for Timberwolves fans. Near the end of the first quarter, their superstar guard, Anthony Edwards, went down awkwardly after a play, clutching his ankle. Edwards had to leave the game following the incident, gingerly making his way to the locker room for further evaluation by the medical staff. Midway through the second quarter, to the relief of his teammates and coaches, Anthony Edwards made his return to the court. He appeared to be moving with a slight limp initially, but his determination to play through the discomfort was evident. His re-entry provided an immediate psychological boost for the Timberwolves, demonstrating his toughness and commitment to his team in a high-stakes environment. Edwards' ability to come back and continue contributing, even after such a scare, speaks volumes about his competitive spirit. While the Timberwolves were enjoying a strong offensive start, the Oklahoma City Thunder found themselves in a more challenging position, particularly their talisman, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. SGA, usually a model of offensive consistency and efficiency, experienced an uncharacteristically difficult first half from the field. He struggled to find his shooting rhythm, converting on just 2 of his 13 field goal attempts. Despite Gilgeous-Alexander's shooting woes, the Thunder managed to stay within striking distance, thanks in part to contributions from other players. Isaiah Hartenstein, for instance, provided a valuable spark, chipping in with 10 points and securing 4 rebounds in the first half. The Thunder's overall 3-point shooting in the first half was also a point of concern. As a team, they connected on only 3 of their 8 attempts from beyond the arc. The Minnesota defense deserves credit for their initial containment of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The halftime break offered a crucial opportunity for him and the team to regroup. The halftime intermission seemed to provide the Oklahoma City Thunder with a much-needed reset, as they emerged for the third quarter with renewed energy and a clear sense of purpose. The game's momentum, which had largely favored the Timberwolves in the first half, began to shift almost immediately. The Thunder initiated the second half with an aggressive 5-0 scoring run, quickly signaling their intent to erase their deficit and assert their dominance on their home floor. Key contributions during this early third-quarter surge came from Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, both of whom played pivotal roles in igniting the Thunder's comeback. Their ability to score and create opportunities for their teammates provided the spark that Oklahoma City desperately needed, putting immediate pressure back on the Timberwolves and energizing the home crowd. They tightened up their defense, forcing Minnesota into tougher shots and creating turnovers that led to transition opportunities. The pace of the game quickened, favoring Oklahoma City's athletic lineup. As the third quarter progressed, the Thunder continued to impose their will, methodically chipping away at Minnesota's lead and eventually surpassing them. After a challenging first half where his shot simply wasn't falling, Gilgeousalexander emerged in the third quarter, looking like the MVP-caliber player fans have come to expect. SGA began to attack the basket with more aggression and decisiveness, finding ways to get to his spots and create scoring opportunities for himself and his teammates. A key moment that underscored SGA's turnaround was an impressive and one play early in the third quarter. He drove through the Minnesota defense, absorbed contact, and finished skillfully at the rim, drawing a foul in the process. The successful free throw completed the three-point play and, significantly, gave the Oklahoma City Thunder the lead for the first time since the early moments of the game. The contrast between Gilgeous-Alexander's first-half and second-half performances was stark. With SGA leading the offensive onslaught, the entire Thunder team seemed to elevate their level of play. While Oklahoma City found its groove in the second half, the Minnesota Timberwolves began to encounter significant challenges, particularly from their bench unit. Key rotational players like Naz Reid, dontedivincenzo, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker struggled mightily with their shooting, combining for a dismal 2 for 19 from the field overall. Their inability to convert open looks or provide a consistent scoring punch off the bench put immense pressure on the starters. Adding to Minnesota's difficulties was mounting foul trouble for some of their key defensive players. JadenMcDaniels, one of the Timberwolves' premier perimeter defenders, picked up his fourth foul in the third quarter on a contentious call while guarding Gilgeous-Alexander. Furthermore, Anthony Edwards, despite his earlier injury, also found himself in foul trouble, picking up his third personal foul after a particularly physical play. A glance at the halftime statistics painted an interesting picture of Game 1, revealing some of the underlying factors that contributed to the early flow of the contest. At the half, Minnesota held a slight edge in field goal percentage, shooting 15 for 42 or 34.9%, while Oklahoma City was marginally better at 15 for 38 or 37.5%. However, the real disparity lay in three-point shooting, where the Timberwolves, largely fueled by Julius Randle's hot start, were 10 for 28 or 35.7%, significantly outpacing the Thunder's 3 for 8. Rebounding was a closely contested battle, with Minnesota grabbing 26 boards to Oklahoma City's 24 by the intermission. One area of concern for the Timberwolves, despite their first-half lead, was their ball security and interior scoring. They committed 11 turnovers in the first two quarters, miscues that potentially cost them opportunities to extend their advantage further. The outcome of Game 1, marked by Oklahoma City's impressive second-half comeback after a strong start by Minnesota, has undeniably set a fascinating tone for the remainder of the Western Conference Finals. While a single game does not define a 7-game series, the Thunder's ability to overcome a deficit and the manner in which Gilgeous-Alexander elevated his play after a slow start will provide them with a significant confidence boost. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, the loss will sting, especially after controlling the first half and seeing Julius Randle catch fire. They will need to analyze how the Thunder managed to shift the momentum so drastically and identify adjustments to counter Oklahoma City's defensive intensity and SGA's offensive brilliance. Key areas of focus will likely include getting more consistent production from their bench, finding ways to score inside, and managing foul trouble more effectively. Anthony Edwards' health following his ankle scare will also be a critical factor moving forward in this demanding series. The physical nature of the contest, with several hard fouls and a technical foul issued, suggests that this series is likely to be a hard-fought, intense battle. Both teams possess young, competitive cores that are unafraid of physicality, and the referees will have a challenging job managing the intensity.